December 6th is the Feast of St. Nicholas. We are a Catholic family and we celebrate the Feast of St. Nicholas on December 6th. This will be our third year celebrating the Feast of St. Nicholas in our home, as it's our daughter's third Christmas. A lot of people, like myself, they start to really want to instill the traditions when their children are born. That's when it starts to get really important to them. And the same was for me. So I'm a Catholic convert. I've been Catholic for about 6 years. And prior to being Catholic, I didn't know anything about St. Nicholas other than this concept of Santa. So when I became Catholic, I started to learn about St. Nicholas, and it wasn't really until I was working in a Catholic classical academy, I taught Montessori for 2 years, that I started to learn more about him because it was something that we celebrated as a school. So these are some ideas that we do in our home, some other things that I took from my teaching experience. He was the Bishop of Myra, and we know that his family died, his parents died in a plague when he was about 13 years old. And then after that time, he really just dedicated his life to God. He had a lot of compassion for the poor. So he is known for his generosity of giving anonymous gifts. One of the legends is of a family with 3 daughters, and this family had no dowry for their daughters. I believe the father was a widower. And so St. Nicholas, he gave them 3 bags of gold as dowries so that they would be able to get married. And for the Feast of St. Nicholas, people do either putting gifts inside of boots or inside of stockings. And this goes back to the tale of St. Nicholas wanting to be anonymous in his gift giving. And so he would throw gifts in through the window. And sometimes the bags of gold would land inside of stockings that were hanging up to dry on the fireplace. Sometimes they would land in the shoes that were in front of the fireplace drying. People do chocolate coins, and these are the ones that we use. These are from Trader Joe's, and they come in a nice little organza bag, and it comes for $1.99. So it's a really awesome gift. They look really beautiful. You can see that there is a variety of coinage, American and European. And they are also pretty clean in comparison to other chocolate coins, and they taste better too. They're better quality chocolate. Another chocolate item comes from Aldi. So these are some gold Santas. They actually come in a variety pack of gold and red. But if you are as picky and as persistent as I am, then you might search through the whole pile and find a bag of all gold Santas, which look an awful lot like bishops. I do have one of the red Santas right here. And you can see it's definitely more of like the kitschy Americanized Santa. So I prefer the gold one. Looks like a bishop. So a lot of people also do oranges to symbolize the 3 bags of gold, or sometimes it's symbolized as 3 balls of gold. So we'll be putting some of these in stockings. There was one year that a local health food store that they offered Christmas oranges. It was like a specific variety of orange. And those were pretty fun. I got them that year, but then unfortunately they closed down. And I don't know of a source for that, but clementines or like mandarin oranges work just as well. I also have some books with information on St. Nicholas. This one is Saints' Lives and Illuminations by Ruth Sanderson. And this is a nice book to have just in general, especially if you're going to be studying saints throughout the year, studying feast days, getting ready in October for All Saints' Day. So you can see down here, St. Nicholas is the patron saint of Russia, sailors, children, brides, also bankers, and a few things. But yeah, we most know, in the cultural sense, we most know St. Nicholas as the patron saint of children, which is why we celebrate the Feast of St. Nicholas the way that we do. This is St. Nicholas by Anne Tompert. It is really aimed for upper elementary children and on. It does have the legend of the three boys, which, if you know it, it's a pretty frightening tale. That legend is probably one of the reasons that St. Nicholas is a patron saint of children. But also, other than that specific tale, the artwork is also a little bit scary. Let me see if I can find one of the pictures. Yeah, so this is, let's see. Yeah, so this depicts his parents having died in the plague. And yeah, some of the artwork in this book is just a little bit dark. Yeah, so I would save it for older children. And one other thing that you can do is you can set up your prayer table with some prayer cards or other like images of St. Nicholas. You could just go and do a Google image search and find some of these, like this one, this larger one. I printed this off of the internet. I believe I copied it and then I just enlarged it and printed it off, laminated it, and these other two I'm gonna end up laminating as well, just so that they last for a long time. A Montessori practical life work, a tray work. This is something that I did in my classroom. So we have some gold spheres and then a stocking. And the kids can just take the spheres and insert them into the stocking, return them back to the tin, and then continue with that for as long as they would like. If you have an older child, you can also add tongs, or you could add a spoon. But my 2-year-old daughter, this is something that we just put on to the shelves in our Montessori space, and she thinks it's pretty fun. So one of the other particular things that I like to do for the Feast of St. Nicholas is wrap things up in gold. So with the Feast of St. Nicholas and Epiphany, it offers you a way to break up your gift giving instead of giving a ton of gifts on Christmas Day and then that day being so much about opening presents and just all of that. You can give gifts, like little gifts for the Feast of St. Nicholas, a gift for Christmas, gift for Epiphany, and then it's not so much of like a frenzy that way. So that's something that I've been moving toward for my family. And for my niece and nephew and for my daughter, I like to do pajamas for the Feast of St. Nicholas. This is a gift that I am giving to my daughter this year. It's a little nativity from Target, for $15. Oh, I don't think I mentioned it, but these Santas were $169, so they're an awesome deal. $169 for 8 Santas. They are hollow, but it's pretty cool. So this nativity, I had seen people talk about it on some Catholic moms groups that I'm a part of on Facebook. And I was like, yeah, it's cute. But at the time, I was not intending to get a separate children's nativity because we have Fontanini figures, and so they can be handled by children. It's what I've used mostly in Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, and they really last, and they look nice. But I came across this in Target, and I just couldn't pass it up. They look pretty nice. You can see they have a bit of a distressed painting. They are not solid wood. They look pretty reverent in comparison to other children's nativities, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think that a set like this will definitely be handled and used differently than some of the other ones that are like plastic and like super cutesy, cartoonish looking. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if there is anything that you are planning to do this year for the Feast of St. Nicholas. If there are any tried and true things that your family really likes.